Hello all, it's Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. And in this video I want to talk to you about how much parents should get involved in college choice or university choice. So if you don't know me, I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship, and I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There were so many people that helped me out that I wanted to pay the favor forward to help you out as much as I possibly can. So this is in response to a question that I got from Cash Dollar, and he writes, Dave, my son is about to start virtual open house sessions. What should he ask? What is the correct approach to take? So I thought long and hard about this because I actually really appreciate the fact that you follow this channel, Cash Dollar. You've been following for a while. I've seen that, and you're an active participant. But I want to use this as a moment for myself to grow, and as well as you to grow as a parent. So for me, myself to grow is to speak my mind when I feel very nervous and anxious about speaking my mind with these kind of things, because normally I don't like to do this, and to be open, and for you to grow as a parent to take a step back and to detach a little bit more from what's happening in your kid's life and what's going on around you. So the reason why I'm recommending, so I'm not going to necessarily answer the question that you asked, but I'm going to recommend for you to take a step back and ask yourself if you were your son, in terms of what he would actually do and what he would want to accomplish in his life if it was just up to him to do that. So I'm recommending for your son to step up and to start asking questions and to start taking the lead in this situation rather yourself. I know that this is difficult for many of us parents to hear this, because I myself really have mixed feelings in terms of how much we should influence our kids and be part of our kids' lives. Remember, I have an 8-year-old and 11-year-old at this moment, and I struggle in terms of this balance, in terms of getting them to pick up what they want to do and what they actually are inclined to do, versus me stepping in and giving recommendations and really driving the process. Now, the reason why I would love for your son to step up and start asking questions rather than yourself is because life is a long journey. We have a lot of stuff that happens in our life. And at some point, we have to start taking control over what happens in our life, and acknowledging it's really up to us in terms of what happens in our life. And we've all had to learn this as we've gotten older and progressed as people. And it will be better for your son to pick up and realize that if he's not asking questions, if he's not the one that's driving the process, he's going to have a lot more trouble in the future when he is faced with a difficult situation. So at this moment in his life, I think it would be better for him to start asking questions and start taking the lead, and if he's very interested in going to graduate school, he's very interested in having a research career, to start asking questions himself on this channel and start following along and really being part of this community rather than having you do it. Because I know if it was me and this was my own child, I would love for them to do well in life and do everything I possibly can to get them to do well in life. But sometimes what you have to do is take a step back and let them figure out these things. And sometimes what that means is that they're going to make mistakes, and it's tough. And it is really difficult to see this. I just know, speaking from my own experience, I wasn't a person that necessarily rebelled as much as other people, but I know that there was people in my family that went through sort of challenges, and the way that my own parents dealt with some of these things and the way that other people I've seen deal with some of these things, it is more useful in the long run And I'm talking very long run. So long run in the next 2 years, that's not long run. I'm talking in 10 years, in 20 years, for you to take a step back and let them lead more than what's going on at this moment. And I know it's tough for all of us parents to do this, but when they start taking the lead and they start doing this is when they become more of an adult and more in charge of who they are as a person. So I know that this is not the answer you want to hear, and my deepest feelings go out to you. But at the same time, I've been thinking about this for a while because you've been asking about your son. But I'd encourage your son to actually start asking these questions. And if you want to pass this video on to him, I'd encourage it. But that's what's going to take in terms of him taking a lead. And it was a lesson that I learned, is that I had to start taking a lead and being okay with that. You could see me grow throughout this whole reciprocity project, where I had to really take a lead on this, and I'm still growing. And that's why I feel nervous and anxious, and my heart is kind of fluttery, because I really don't want to tell you. I want to please you, but at the same time, I know what I have to think. And this is where I kind of stand in this situation, is that you have to lead your own life. And if you don't lead your own life, then what kind of life are you going to be living? So I just know that this is a tough thing to hear, and I acknowledge where you're feeling as a parent, but just really reflect on what I say, and hopefully we'll all grow in this situation. So with that, give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and Cash Dollar, you know what the rules are on this video, is if I do something nice to you or I answer one of the questions for you, then you have to go do something nice for somebody else. And I know it's probably going to feel very difficult to do that at this moment after this sort of advice that I gave to you, but use it as a moment to grow as an individual, as a person, and really take a step forward and really listen to what I'm saying, is that maybe it's time for your son to take the reins on this question. So with that, we'll see you on the next video. Take care.